Uh, Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the press briefing with Ambassador Dmitry Polyanskiy on Russia's security concept for the Gulf area. The ambassador will make some brief remarks and then we'll open the floor for your questions. Ambassador, you have the floor.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for your patience. I planned to start a little bit earlier, but it was kind of circumstances that I couldn't foresee. So I would like to divide the press conference, which I hope will not be too long, in two sections. First one is about our security concept for the Gulf area, which is the bulk of what I was going to say. And then at the end, I will also make a couple of points on today's consultations on Georgia. And if you have any questions, I would also be very pleased to answer them. So we decided to make this special presentation of our security concept for the Gulf area because we think it's really important for ensuring security in a strategic important area of the world. You know how difficult the situation is now. So this concept was distributed as an official document of Security Council, and now my colleagues also shared the print version with you. If you need to have it on your email, don't hesitate to tell us. We'll send you the electronic version. I will not, of course, read the whole of the concept, though it's quite concise. I just highlight main points of it. So we really believe that the idea of establishing a security system in the Gulf area might be essential for consolidating political and diplomatic efforts in the region. We formulated in this concept several principles how to ensure security in Gulf area. So we think that all stakeholders interested in eliminating the hotbed of extremism and terrorism in the Middle East should be consolidated in a single counter-terrorism coalition. There is a need for mobilizing public opinion across Islamic world and other countries. The cornerstone is, of course, our common adherence to international law, the UN Charter and UN Security Council resolutions. We insist that security system in Gulf area should be universal and comprehensive. It should be based on respect for the interests of all regional and other parties involved. Confidence-building measures are of paramount importance. As for practical work for the launch of security system, we see it through bilateral and multilateral consultations among stakeholders, including regional and extra-regional states, UN Security Council, the League of Arab States, the Organization of Islamic Conference and Cooperation Council for the Arab States of the Gulf. So we would see established action group to prepare an international conference on security and cooperation in Gulf area. Well, we also formulate certain measures that would be necessary for confidence building and further discussion and development. Again, international law is the key principle that we all need to respect. I will not dwell in detail upon this. You will find this in the concept. So the central long-term objective of our proposal is the creation of a security and cooperation organization in the Persian Gulf. That would include, in addition to the Gulf countries, Russia, China, the USA, the EU, India, and other stakeholders as observers or associated members. So that's in a nutshell what we really wanted to point out. Again, everything is there, everything is clear, everything is transparent. We hope that our move will contribute to pacifying spirits and pacifying tensions in this very important section of our globe. And we are ready to work with everybody who would like to contribute to it. It's a starting point for our discussions, of course. And we already received certain feedback from certain actors, and we hope that this process will continue and lead all of us to something positive and tangible. So I'll stop at this point. I'm ready for your questions.
And the first question goes to Valeria.
Thank you. Thank you, Ambassador, for this press conference on behalf of ANCA. On the Strait of Hormuz, do you think the international patrolling led by the US and UK can be a solution? And can you elaborate on that? Thank you.
I envisage that this would be the question. First of all, we need to understand that in our belief, only the measures that are sanctioned by UN Security Council and that enjoy uniform support from all the key stakeholders have the chance to bring peace and stability to this region and to solve all the divergences. So we also noted that before the United States decided to withdraw from JCPOA, there were no problems from with transportation of oil in this region. That's why the solutions to this issue may not lie in physical field, but in some confidence-building measures, and of course negotiations and dialogue between all the concerned parties.
Pamela, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ambassador, for the briefing. It's Pamela Falk from CBS News. The GCC has been the principal security body in the area since their 80s. On your single counterterrorism coalition, do you think there is room for another security body in the region? And will Russia try to expand its military bases in the Middle East to try to support this initiative? Thank you.
I don't have any information that would lead me to believe that your last part of your question is justified. As for security guarantees and security organization, I think we should judge efficiency of any security measures by decrease of tensions and solution of issues that are outstanding.
And is Saudi Arabia, the kingdom, one of the countries you contacted on this initiative? Do you think they're supportive?
We contacted everything, and this is an inclusive strategy, not exclusive. So we don't exclude any actors that would be interested in making a contribution there.
Were they supportive?
Well, it's only the initial stage. Very much will depend on you, how you present our strategy as well.
Thank you.
Ajit, please.
Thank you, Ambassador. Ambassador, in this paper it says we are ready to work closely with all stakeholders, both in official settings and socio-political and expert circles. What about military? Is Russia, on principle, ready to participate militarily if this proposal went forward? And my second question about the proposal is, other than Iran, is there any other country willing to accept or any discussion about your proposal? And I have another question about Syria. As you know, Turkey.
May I answer this one, because I will forget.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, I'm a bit old man now, so my memory often fails me. As for, well, again, this is initial stage. So we started discussion. The attitude of all the potential stakeholders so far is quite positive, but of course they wait for detail, and we also would expect some more practical feedback from them. As for military and not military, you know, I'm a diplomat. I'm not a military man, and I think that when we diplomats do our job well, then there is no room for the military to intervene. And we are really keen to make our job well, to fulfill our job well.
And Ambassador, about the recent agreement between Turkey and U.S. To create what they call safe or peaceful zone. What is the Russia's position with regard to this agreement? And has Turkey been coordinating with you with regard to the details of this agreement and the implementation in future?
Turkey is our key partner, good friendly neighbor, So of course we have dialogue on many issues, but it doesn't mean that we have absolutely universal approaches on some issues. For us, the key principle for any solutions about Syria and within Syria proceed from the respect of sovereignty and territorial integrity of Syria. So we need to look into further details how all these things will be implemented. But I really highlighted to you the key principle for us, how we will judge any initiatives or developments. Okay.
Joseph Klein of Canada Free Press. Haven't had a chance to really look through the concept statement, but to what extent would you be emphasizing complete freedom of navigation through international waters, and that this should be a multilateral effort to guarantee, because the Iranian regime has said that it sees itself as having, quote, security responsibility in the Gulf. And secondly, since this is focused on countering terrorism, as you know, Iran does not consider Hezbollah or Hamas as terrorist organizations. So do you think there's going to be any realistic hope that there would be broad consensus on what groups are considered terrorist organizations?
Again, I'll start maybe with your second part. You know, there is only one criteria for considering this or that organization terrorist or non-terrorist, and this is Security Council decisions and United Nations framework. So this or that country can have its own opinion on whether to consider this or that organization terrorist or not, and it's not a secret that we have some divergences in classifying this or that organization to become part of this terrorist family. So I would really appeal to you to be cautious about such things and to proceed from internationally recognized definitions and lists. As for security of navigation, it's absolutely clear for us that one of the consequences of implementation of our strategy would be freedom of navigation and secure navigation in this region. Again, I would want to reiterate that it's not by coincidence that all these problems started quite recently, and the decision that triggered all these problems was American withdrawal from JCPOA. You can't deny it. It can't be a mere coincidence. It means that the problem is much more complex than some politicians and countries try to present it. And again, only through dialogue you can address the preoccupations of different stakeholders and find long-standing solutions for very important issues. That's what we're trying to do.
Thank you. Evelyn Leopold, Independent Media Institute. How do you see a confidence-building measure between Saudi Arabia and Iran?
Well, neighbors always have problems. That's a common thing. People living together at the same floor can also have divergences on very, very daily life basis issues. So in any case, any security arrangements, any trust-building efforts should comprise all the players, and we think that this is a task that we can realize to bring together all the stakeholders, all the countries of the region, no matter how important and deep their divergences can be. We are patient people and we are positive people, so we appeal to everybody to be open-minded and to see beyond the horizon on many issues, and we feel that this task can be implemented.